Hello guys, welcome back to my channel Elite Wrestling World. I am your host GhostSaad. Thank you guys for joining me right here for AEW Dynamite post-show review. What a loaded card announced for tonight. We are just 2 weeks away from All-In pay-per-view. It's gonna be a fantastic pay-per-view. So for tonight's Dynamite, we have two trios matches: Elite versus Callis Family, and also Ospreay and United Empire versus the Callis Family as well. We will see Maya World defending the TBS title against Kris Statlander, Persephone and Hikaru Shida as well. Two Continental Challenge Cup matches. Quarterfinal match between Jon Moxley and Jay White, and also Nigel McGuinness versus Hechicero as well. So plenty to look forward. Let's get dive into it and talk about that. So we started off Dynamite with the trios match, United Empire versus the Don Callis Family. Fun party match to kick off the show. For the match, we saw Ospreay and Cage kick things off for their respective teams. Ospreay tried using his speed for the snap hurricane rana. We saw Romero tried a sliced bread, blocked as Akira flew in with the slingshot cutter. Archer tried a double choke slam, but Henare launched in with an uppercut. Akira and Henare hit double dives outside. Romero doing the victory slide in the corner, but positioned well enough for Ospreay, knocking him out with the hidden blade and gets the pinfall victory. So again, a fun trios match to start off Dynamite. Like the pairing of Ospreay and the United Empire back together. Backstage, we saw Renee is with Okada asking his thoughts on the international title three-way at All-In with Fletcher and Takeshita. Okada says nothing is more important than family, unlike Takeshita, who left the family due to being so selfish. Okada is confident Fletcher won't make the same mistake. He knows the only thing that matters is the international title stays in the family. If that means Fletcher regains, he will be happy. But if it means Okada becomes the new international champion, he accepts Fletcher to be happy for him and raise his hand in the center of the ring. So there is this tension between Okada and Fletcher for the international title. It's going to be a banger match. Three-way for the international title at All-In. Pretty much looking forward to that match as well. Tony Schiavone is in the ring and introduces the international champion Kyle Fletcher to the ring. Fletcher came out to the ring. He said they are in the midst of the greatest international title reign of all time. Fletcher trusts Callis with his heart, so he is willing to go along with the plan, but Okada has to know his role in this. If family is so important, Okada will have no problem having his back, ensuring he retains the title. One thing they can agree on is their hate for Takeshita. Fletcher says Takeshita is probably still licking his wounds from losing the G1. He is still the most selfish, narcissistic. Before Fletcher can continue, the music for Takeshita hits and he heads to the ring as Schiavone wisely bails. The fight is on. Fletcher hits the half and half but ran right into the blue thunder bomb. These two going at each other. Takeshita wants the power drive knee. Fletcher blocks. They trade tombstone attempts until Takeshita spikes Fletcher with the poison runner, power drive knee and the raging fire, and raise the international title on the fallen Fletcher body. I think so these three gonna wrestle one of the best matches of the year. They're gonna deliver a banger for All-In, and looking forward to the three-way for the international title as well. It's gonna be a banger. Sit down between Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega. Renee sat with both men earlier today and took things back to 2015 in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla when these two fought for the first time. Ospreay said he was a massive Omega fan. It was a huge honor. Omega tries to keep his finger on the pulse, understanding who the flavors of the month are. And then Renee brings up the feuds in New Japan Pro Wrestling, bringing up the Chaos, Elite, United Empire. Then talked about Omega returning to face Ospreay at Wrestle Kingdom. Omega said Ospreay was a complete different person, no longer a skinny kid. Instead, someone who was the new face of New Japan, who filled his shoes. It was out of necessity that Omega came back. New Japan needed to sell tickets. Ospreay name alone wasn't going to do that, so Omega has to do it. Then Ospreay said it's all good to build a company of the broken backs of Tanahashi, Naito, Okada and Omega. Did his parts, but not under the restriction. Ospreay said Omega embarrassed him coming into New Japan, tearing apart his life in front of so many people he loved. It was 80% Ospreay and 20% Omega. He still has scars to show it. Omega asked how this was different from when Ospreay came into his home, and Ospreay said Omega deserved it. Omega didn't use Callis in Tokyo Dome, but Ospreay uses Callis in the Forbidden Door match, while Ospreay said it still keeps him up, as everyone online says he didn't do it alone. The victory 3 years ago meant nothing. Then Renee brings up both being sick and injured. Omega cut her off, saying if it's not Renee, it's Excalibur, Taz, Callis. They are right. It forced Omega to train differently and used his mind more. Ospreay said hearing how much his words cut Omega deep when he told Omega he gave up on himself at Dynasty, calling Omega his hero. Beating Omega is easier than beating MJF, while Ospreay said is bullshit. If he can't beat this version of Omega in front of his family and friends, he has the chance to be the first to win the world title on his size of stage. Ospreay can't crumble, he has to be better than Omega. Alone, without Callis, without Death Riders. Omega said the last time it mattered the most was 2023 when Ospreay failed, as this time he will fail in front of friends and family. When Ospreay loses, his mother will still respect him, but his boy might want another hero. So that was a very low blow by Omega. Omega walks off as Ospreay shoves away security. This was a fantastic segment that I would have ended the show with, honestly, but it serves its purpose, and this builds up the hype for this match at All In main event. It's gonna be a banger. Omega, Ospreay, world title, All In main event. This is gonna be a banger for the ages. Next up is the TBS title match. Maya World defending against Kris Statlander, Hikaru Shida, and CMLL Women's World Champion Persephone. Chaotic start at the opening bell. Shida popped Statlander with the Yuzugiri on the apron. Maya World flew in with the Snap Hurricane Rana. Quick cover strikes by World on Persephone. We saw Persephone spike Statlander with a nice bridging German for a 2 count. Statlander tried a DDT as Shida flew off the second with a missile dropkick. Persephone with the razor's edge. Statlander saved Shida only to powerbomb her down herself. World tried her bridging fallaway slam. Statlander countered it, looked for the Wednesday Night Fever, only to get rolled up by Maya World for the flash pin and retaining that title. So this was a very good defense by Maya World, and pretty much like this 4-way match. So Maya World still the TBS champion. Brawling Birds cut a promo backstage on Divine Dominion, telling the Slags to strap in, hit them as hard, as often as you can see. The receipt will always be harder, as 2 undefeated teams will head to London, as thousands of drunken Brits will be screaming for them to take their bloody head off. So hyping up the women's tag title match between Divine Dominion and the Brawling Birds. Looking forward to that as well. Next up is the quarterfinal match in the Continental Cup. Jon Moxley versus Jay White. This turned it into one hell of a thriller. This was the only second singles match between these two. Jay White was my initial pick to take this thing, and I obviously didn't feel great when I saw him drop Moxley in the quarterfinals. I was hoping they both gonna meet in the finals, and this was one hell of a match for these two. Loud dueling chants to start off this match for both Jay White and Moxley. White quickly escaped into a 4th cutthroat suplex and a Uranagi for a very close 2 count. White selling the injured neck, wanted the Blade Runner. Moxley fought out of desperately as he got the rear naked choke. White got a pin attempt and we got the closest near fall in the match. Moxley got a gator roll into a bulldog choke. White tried desperately getting to the ropes. Moxley switched grips into a Death Rider as we got another insane near fall, and crowd goes nuts on that. Moxley stabbed a rear naked choke, leg strapped, and despite White fighting, he passed out, and Moxley qualifies for the semi-final. Jay White is out, and I am very disappointed in that result, but this was a fantastic match. Post-match, we saw Marina Shafir came to the ring, raised Moxley's hand. White got to his feet on his own. Moxley debated with Shafir. White went up to Moxley but was blindsided by the dogs, David Finlay, Clark Connors, Orange Cassidy and Kyle O'Reilly evened the odds until we saw the returning Gabe Kid hit the ring and attacked. Roddy Strong's attempt to make the save suffered a high-low for his troubles. The dogs were about to put Strong down when Hangman Adam Page Brodido comes out. The trio's champs hit the ring and makes the save. Hangman told Finlay nice boots, dumbass, until the demand interrupt on the stage with the lethal twist as well. Page said there is no way they are missing Wembley, so any of them out there fighting tonight or took a break. If anyone wants a shot at the trio's titles, meet them under the Wembley Arc at dusk because the champs will be waiting. So now we have this multi-team trios match happening at Wembley Stadium. I think so it's a great idea. It will be interesting to see how many teams will be there to compete in this multi-team trios match. We will see what is the match looks like at All In. I think so it's a great idea to do this multi-man trios title match at All In Wembley Stadium. So looking forward to that as well. We saw Jonathan Cruz in the ring, and his MJF's personal translator brings out a scroll given by MJF to tell Andrade what he truly thinks of him in Spanish. Andrade will never be real world champion. Andrade isn't a real Latino man. Cruz went to leave, but Andrade music hits, and apparently this is actually a match. Andrade versus Jonathan Cruz. Bell sounded and spinning back elbow, and the DM demolishes Cruz for the quick win by Andrade. Andrade took the mic and cut a promo on MJF in Spanish. Andrade called him a fake champion. MJF music hits. We see a video of MJF on the big screen in his hot tub applauding Andrew soaking up the sunshine as he is big hero, and questioned the travel team if Andrade was traveling to Baltimore, and they told him yes. So MJF is in beautiful Long Island. The next time Andrew will see MJF will be at All In, and this was a very good segment to build up the hype for the Casino Gauntlet. MJF and Andrade will start the Casino Gauntlet. It's gonna be a fantastic Casino Gauntlet this year. Next up is the sit down between Willow Nightingale and Mercedes Moné. Both ladies are in separate rooms for this one. Willow said she's never going to take her smile, like she will never take her title. Monet called her a dumb bitch, and Willow said she's smiling because she has fans, which eats up Monet, who spent her whole career being perfect. While Willow has never been a prototype, she will always be Willow. The person that smiled at Monet who got hurt in New Japan was the same person smiling in AEW who took her TBS title from her, smashing her face in a cake and dancing around with her friend, calling Willow a bully. Monet said, "Keep smiling, 11 days left, you dumb bitch." As both ladies take off their earrings and leave their rooms, Willow gets attacked by Monet first and brought out to the arena. We saw the security and referee officials trying to separate both ladies and crowd chanting, "Let them fight." Nightingale shot a double leg and gets her licks in until security pulls them apart. Both ladies break free multiple times before Monet is pulled outside, and Willow is the one standing tall in the ring as her music played. So this was a very good segment to build up the tension between these two ladies for the women's title match. Again, it's gonna be another banger match for All In card. Looking forward to that as well. Swerve is backstage with Prince Nana, who asked if Hangman Adam Page said anyone could challenge for the trios titles. "Don't say it if you don't mean it." Strickland walks away and Nana asks whose house? Swerve's house. So again, another hint of Swerve going after the trios titles as well. So he might be in the multi-team trios titles match as well, and rumor is around that New Day will be their partners for the trios title match. And if it happens, it's gonna be a very good debut for the New Day with Swerve Strickland, and they might win the trios titles at All In as well. So looking forward to that as well. Next up is the quarterfinal match for the Continental Cup. Nigel McGuinness versus CMLL World Champion Hechicero. This was rather quick but an enjoyable match. McGuinness selling the ankle injury being a major factor here, and it was really presented like McGuinness survived this instead of winning. Renee is ringside and told us McGuinness told her in regards to his ankle injury suffered on collision. He spent most of his career having injuries and this is not different, so he will fight. Hechicero charged again for the single leg, but McGuinness kicked out of the leg and Hechicero took a neck bump. Nigel locked in the guillotine choke. Hechicero ultimately passed out and Nigel McGuinness survived this match and qualifies for the semi-final. So it will be interesting to see if Nigel gets to the Wembley. We get the video package of Kevin Knight versus Darby Allin falls count anywhere match for the TNT title at All In. Tony Schiavone introduces Knight to the ring. Kevin Knight rips the mic from Tony Schiavone, says his constant questions make him uncomfortable. Everyone questions the Jet, but tonight he has answers, especially for Darby Allin. Knight isn't a young boy anymore, he's a TNT champion and the greatest TNT champion of all time. Kevin Knight demands Allin to get his ass to the ring to go face to face. Allin walks out and Knight demands for security check him for weapons. Allin just showed he didn't have anything. Kevin Knight said Baltimore isn't worthy of seeing him fight, but still tells Allin to get to the ring. Allin was then lit up by a huge amount of pyro on the stage and Knight pounced, charging at him with the flying clothesline. This was a scary look on TV as Darby Allin was lit up by a huge pyro on stage. Kevin Knight placed All In the Tree of Woe and chair onto his face as he hit the coast to coast, with Allin brutally bending back in the process. Doctors come out to attend to Allin as Steve Borden, Sting's son, is out as well. Allin is loaded on a stretcher and goes to the back. So it will be interesting to see whether Darby Allin will be able to wrestle for the TNT title in a Falls Count Anywhere match at All In, or we might see someone else taking his spot. I pretty much doubt that someone else will take his spot. So it will be interesting story to follow next week as well. And in the main event, the Elite versus the Callis Family trios match. Sure, the Callis family controlled the early part of the match, but this was another very good match for the Elite. We saw Ospreay got into Omega's face backstage as he was about to enter. Omega telling the security to get Ospreay away from here before making his entrance. Huge pyro for the champion. Nick starts quickly with the Lucha Libre arm drag on Clon. Elite hit a trio of corner strikes as backbreaker double storm with Matt. Matt pump faked a super kick, tried a DDT, but Clon seemed to no sell and hit a power bomb. Snapdragon from Omega. Doyle tags in, eats a double super kick and Snapdragon of his own before a super kick party by all three Elite members. Clon and Davis taken out with stereo slingshot dives by Bucks. Omega hitting a V-trigger and the one-winged angel on Jack Doyle to get the pinfall victory for his team, and the Elite standing tall after the match as well. In the main event of Dynamite, post-match we saw RPG Vice and Lance Archer hit the ring, attack the Elite, set up a table ringside. Davis drags Omega to the apron. Archer was about to double choke slam the Bucks when Adam Copeland music hits and he's charged to the ring. Christian Cage walks as well, but once Copeland gets beat down, puts a little hustle in his step and helps clear the ring of the Callis family. Bucks try to super kick Beretta only to take out Cage accidentally. Copeland and Bucks shove each other and opt to start going after the Callis family up the ramp backstage, leaving Omega alone in the ring. Before Omega can say anything, Will Ospreay music hits and he heads right to the ring. Omega said that he had something to say to Ospreay. Omega said all he had left to say to Ospreay is security, get him out of here, as Ospreay called him a pussy. Omega said, take your tail between your legs like the little English bitch you are. Ospreay stopped at the ramp, said he's going to kick the shit out of Omega as he hits the ring, gets in a few shots. Security comes in to pull them apart, allowing Omega to fight off a V-trigger Omega beats up the guards and tells Ospreay he has one last thing to teach him, dragging Ospreay to the apron, delivering one winged angel through the table to a loud holy shit chants, and the heel Kenny is back. He is very happy. He delivered a one winged angel to Ospreay and standing tall in the ring. I pretty much like the heel Kenny here, and it's gonna be a fantastic main event heading into All In. Kenny Omega working as a heel is the fantastic thing happening to this match. Pretty much looking forward to heel Kenny versus babyface Ospreay in the main event of All In Wembley Stadium for the world title. It's gonna be a fantastic match. It's gonna be a banger environment, and these two gonna deliver one hell of a banger main event for the world championship at Wembley Stadium. So this was a very good episode of Dynamite. All the matches on the All In card get some TV time tonight, and pretty much like the segments for the two big matches, women's world title match between Mercedes and Willow, and also the world title main event between Omega and Ospreay. Pretty much looking forward to All In at Wembley Stadium. It's gonna be a banger pay-per-view. So that's the end of the show, folks. Please guys, like and share this video, subscribe to my channel, and keep watching Elite Wrestling World.